They saw acts of kindness, bravery, and love that moved them to tears. But just as they began to feel a sense of admiration, the hologram shifted again. This time, it showed a massive explosion, followed by a world engulfed in flames. The students stared in horror as the image of Earth's near destruction played out before them. This, the professor said solemnly, was humanity's darkest hour. A war so devastating that it nearly wiped out their entire civilization. But even in this moment of despair, they found a way to survive. And that is the secret we must uncover. The students were silent, their minds racing with questions. What had saved humanity? How had they overcome such darkness? And why had they been brought here to learn about it? The professor turned to them, his eyes glowing with intensity. What you are about to discover will change the way you see not just humanity, but the entire universe. The key to their survival lies in their past, and it is a lesson we all must learn. As the hologram faded, the students felt a mix of fear and curiosity. They had come to Earth to study its history, but now they realized they were about to uncover something far greater, a secret that could change the galaxy forever. The alien students sat in silence, their minds still reeling from the holographic images of Earth's ancient wars. The room felt heavier now, the air thick with unspoken questions. The professor stood at the front, his glowing blue skin casting a soft light on the walls. What you've just seen, he began, is only the beginning. Earth's history is vast and complex, filled with moments of both great darkness and incredible light. To truly understand humanity, we must go deeper. He pressed a button on the console, and the holographic screens lit up again. This time, the images showed a different era, vast armies marching across deserts, towering castles under siege, and ships battling on stormy seas. The students leaned forward, their eyes wide with fascination. These are some of Earth's most famous conflicts, the professor explained. The Roman Empire, the Mongol conquests, the World Wars. Each of these events shaped humanity in ways they are still trying to understand. One student, a tall alien with silver scales, raised his hand. But why did they keep fighting? Didn't they learn from their mistakes? The professor sighed. It's not that simple. Humans are driven by many things: power, fear, pride, even love. Sometimes, their emotions cloud their judgment. But what makes them unique is their ability to rise again, no matter how many times they fall. The hologram shifted to show a different scene, a group of humans rebuilding a city after a devastating war. They worked together, lifting stones, planting trees, and helping each other heal. The students watched in awe as the city slowly came back to life. This, the professor said, is the other side of humanity. For every act of destruction, there is an act of creation. For every moment of hate, there is a moment of love. It is this balance that defines them. The students nodded, but one of them, a young alien with bright orange eyes, looked troubled. Professor, if humans are capable of such great good, why do they still have so much conflict? Why haven't they found peace? The professor smiled faintly. That is the question we are here to answer. But to do that, we must look beyond the surface. We must uncover the hidden truths of their past. He pressed another button, and the hologram changed again. This time, it showed a massive library, its shelves filled with ancient books and scrolls. The students gasped as the image zoomed in on a single, dusty book with a strange symbol on its cover. This, the professor said, is the hidden archive. It contains records of Earth's greatest secrets, events that were erased from history, stories that were never told. What we find here may shock you, but it will also help you understand the true nature of humanity. The students exchanged excited glances. They had come to Earth to learn, but now they felt like explorers on the brink of a great discovery. The professor led them to a large table in the center of the room. On it was a holographic map of Earth, with glowing dots marking different locations. These are the places where the hidden archive's records are stored, he explained. We will visit each one, piece by piece, to uncover the truth. But be warned, what we find may challenge everything you think you know. The students nodded, their hearts pounding with anticipation. They had only just arrived on Earth, but already they felt like they were part of something much bigger. As they prepared to leave the dome, one student lingered behind, staring at the holographic map. She couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this story, something the professor wasn't telling them. "Professor," she said quietly, "why are we really here? What is it about humanity's past that's so important?" The professor turned to her, his eyes glowing with a strange intensity. "Because, my dear, humanity's past holds the key to our future. And what we discover here may change the fate of the entire galaxy." With that, he turned and walked out of the dome, leaving the students to follow. The young alien hesitated for a moment, then hurried after the group. She didn't know what they would find, but she knew one thing for certain: their journey was just beginning. The alien students followed their professor through a series of winding tunnels beneath the dome. The air grew cooler, and the walls were lined with strange symbols that glowed faintly in the dim light. The students whispered to each other, their voices echoing in the narrow passageway. "Where are we going?" one student asked, his voice trembling with excitement. "To the heart of the hidden archive," the professor replied without turning around. "This is where the true history of Earth is kept, the stories that were never told, the secrets that were buried for centuries." The students exchanged nervous glances. They had studied many civilizations, but none had ever hidden their history like this. What could be so important, or so dangerous, that it had to be locked away? Finally, they reached a massive door made of polished metal. It was covered in intricate carvings of humans, aliens, and strange creatures. The professor placed his hand on a panel beside the door, and it slid open with a soft hiss. Inside, the room was vast and filled with rows of glowing shelves. Each shelf held holographic records, ancient books, and strange artifacts. The students stepped inside, their eyes wide with wonder. "This," the professor said, "is the hidden archive. Every piece of information here has been carefully preserved, waiting for the right time to be revealed." The students spread out, exploring the shelves. One student picked up a holographic record and activated it. The image of a human soldier appeared, his face weary but determined. "This is a record from Earth's greatest war," the professor explained. "A war that nearly destroyed their entire civilization. But it was also a war that brought out the best in them: courage, sacrifice, and hope." The students watched as the hologram showed scenes of humans fighting not just for themselves, but for each other. They saw soldiers sharing their last meal, families reuniting after years of separation, and communities coming together to rebuild. One student, a young alien with shimmering green skin, felt tears welling up in her eyes. "They suffered so much," she said softly. "But they never gave up." "Why? What kept them going?" The professor nodded. "That is the question we are here to answer. But to do that, we must look deeper." He led them to a large table in the center of the room. On it was a holographic map of Earth, with glowing dots marking different locations. "These are the places where the most important events of Earth's history took place," the professor explained. "Each one holds a piece of the puzzle. We will visit each one, piece by piece, to uncover the truth." The students gathered around the table, their eyes fixed on the map. One of the glowing dots caught their attention, a small island in the middle of a vast ocean. "What's there?" a student asked, pointing to the island. The professor's expression grew serious. "That is where humanity's darkest hour began. It is also where they found the strength to survive." The students felt a chill run down their spines. They didn't know what they would find on the island, but they knew it would change everything. As they prepared to leave the archive, one student lingered behind, staring at a strange artifact on one of the shelves. It was a small, metallic box with a glowing symbol on its surface. "Professor," she called out, "what is this?" The professor turned and saw the box. His eyes widened in surprise. "That is something I did not expect to find here. It is a relic from an ancient alien race, one that visited Earth long before humans even existed." The students gasped. "Aliens? On Earth?" The professor nodded. "Yes. But not just any aliens. This race was known as the Guardians. They were said to have guided humanity through their darkest times, helping them survive when all hope seemed lost." The students were stunned. They had always thought of humans as a solitary species, struggling alone in the vast universe. But now, they realized that humanity's story was far more complex, and far more connected, than they had ever imagined. "What happened to the Guardians?" a student asked. The professor's expression darkened. "That is a story for another time. For now, we must focus on the task at hand. The island awaits." With that, he turned and walked out of the archive, leaving the students to follow. The young alien with the shimmering green skin hesitated for a moment, then picked up the metallic box and slipped it into her bag. She didn't know why, but she felt like it was important, like it held a secret that could change everything. As they left the archive and stepped back into the tunnels, the students felt a mix of excitement and fear. They were about to uncover the truth about humanity's past, but they couldn't shake the feeling that they were also uncovering something about themselves. The journey to the island would be long and dangerous, but they knew it was a journey they had to take. The fate of the galaxy depended on it. The alien students boarded a sleek, futuristic hovercraft that would take them to the mysterious island. As they soared over the vast ocean, the students stared out at the endless blue, their minds racing with questions. The professor sat at the front, his glowing blue skin reflecting the sunlight streaming through the windows. "What will we find on the island?" one student asked, breaking the silence. The professor turned to face them, his expression serious. "You will see the remnants of humanity's greatest struggle, a time when they faced extinction. But you will also see how they found hope in the darkest of times." The students exchanged nervous glances. They had already seen so much of Earth's violent past, but the professor's tone suggested that this would be different. This would be personal. As the hovercraft approached the island, the students noticed something strange. The island was surrounded by a thick, swirling mist that seemed to glow faintly. The professor guided the craft through the mist, and they emerged into a hidden cove. The island was unlike anything they had ever seen. The landscape was barren, with jagged rocks and twisted trees. In the center of the island stood a massive structure, a crumbling fortress made of black stone. "This," the professor said, "is where humanity's darkest hour began. It was here that they faced their greatest enemy, not an alien race, not a natural disaster, but themselves." The students stepped off the hovercraft and followed the professor to the fortress. The air was heavy with silence, and the ground was littered with debris. As they entered the fortress, they saw walls covered in faded murals depicting scenes of war, famine, and despair. One student, a young alien with bright orange eyes, pointed to a mural showing a group of humans standing together, their faces filled with determination. "Who are they?" The professor paused, his eyes softening. They were the last survivors of a global conflict that nearly wiped out humanity. They came here, to this island, to make their final stand. But instead of fighting, they chose to unite. They chose to rebuild. The students were silent, their hearts heavy with emotion. They had seen humanity's capacity for destruction, but now they were seeing their capacity for hope. The professor led them deeper into the fortress, to a large chamber filled with holographic records. He activated one, and the image of a human leader appeared. The leader's face was weary, but his eyes burned with determination. "This is a message from the leader of the survivors," the professor explained. He recorded it just before they began their final mission. The hologram began to play, and the leader's voice filled the chamber. To anyone who finds this message, he began, know that we did not give up. We fought, we suffered, and we lost so much. But we also found something that kept us going. It was the belief that even in the darkest times, there is always hope. We came here not to die, but to live. To rebuild. To create a future for those who come after us. The students listened in silence, their hearts swelling with admiration. They had never heard such words before, words of resilience, of unity, of hope. When the hologram ended, the professor turned to the students. This is the lesson of humanity's darkest hour. They could have given up. They could have let their fear and anger consume them. But they chose to fight for something greater. They chose to believe in a better future. The students nodded, their eyes filled with tears. They had come to Earth to study its history, but now they were learning something far more important, something about themselves. As they left the chamber and stepped back into the sunlight, one student noticed something strange. The mist surrounding the island had begun to clear, revealing a breathtaking view of the ocean. The sky was a brilliant blue, and the air was filled with the sound of birds. "It's beautiful," the young alien with shimmering green skin whispered. The professor smiled. "Yes, it is. And it is a reminder that even after the darkest hour, there is always light." The students stood in silence, taking in the beauty of the island. They didn't know what the next part of their journey would bring, but they knew one thing for certain: they would never forget what they had learned here. As they boarded the hovercraft and prepared to leave the island, the young alien with the metallic box felt it grow warm in her bag. She didn't know why, but she felt like it was trying to tell her something important. The journey was far from over, but they were ready. They had seen the darkest hour of humanity, and they had seen the light that followed. Now, they were ready to uncover the rest of the story. The hovercraft soared over the ocean, leaving the mysterious island behind. The alien students sat in silence, their minds still reeling from what they had seen. The young alien with shimmering green skin clutched the metallic box in her bag, feeling its warmth grow stronger with every passing moment. "Professor," she finally spoke up, "what do we know about the Guardians? The alien race that helped humanity?" The professor turned to her, his glowing blue eyes filled with a mix of curiosity and caution. The Guardians were an ancient and highly advanced race. They believed in guiding younger civilizations, helping them overcome their struggles without interfering too much. They visited Earth long before humans even existed, and they returned during humanity's darkest hour to offer their help. The students leaned forward, eager to hear more. "But why did they help humans?" one student asked. "What made humanity so special?" The professor smiled faintly. "That is what we are here to find out." The Guardians saw something in humanity, a spark, a potential that even humans themselves didn't fully understand. They believed that humanity could one day become a beacon of hope for the entire galaxy. The students exchanged excited glances. They had always thought of humans as a flawed and violent species, but now they were beginning to see them in a new light. As the hovercraft approached its next destination, a vast desert with towering ruins, the professor continued. "The Guardians left behind clues, hidden in places like this. If we can piece together their story, we may finally understand why they chose humanity." The hovercraft landed near the ruins, and the students stepped out into the scorching heat. The ruins were massive, with towering pillars and intricate carvings that glowed faintly in the sunlight. "This was once a Guardian outpost," the professor explained. "It was here that they first made contact with humanity." The students explored the ruins, their eyes wide with wonder. They found holographic records, ancient artifacts, and strange symbols carved into the walls. One student activated a hologram, and the image of a Guardian appeared, a tall, ethereal being with shimmering silver skin and glowing eyes. The Guardian's voice echoed through the ruins, calm and melodic. To those who find this message, know that we, the Guardians, have watched over Earth for millennia. We have seen humanity's struggles, their triumphs, and their failures. But we have also seen their potential, their capacity for love, courage, and hope. It is this potential that led us to help them in their darkest hour. The students listened in awe, their hearts swelling with emotion. They had never heard such words before, words of belief, of trust, of hope. When the hologram ended, the professor turned to the students. The Guardians did not help humanity because they had to. They helped because they believed in them. They saw something in humanity that even humans themselves could not see. The young alien with the metallic box felt it grow warm again. She opened her bag and took it out, holding it in her hands. The symbol on its surface began to glow, and the box suddenly opened, revealing a small, glowing crystal. "What is that?" a student asked, his voice filled with wonder. The professor's eyes widened. "That is a guardian crystal. It contains a message, a final gift from the Guardians to humanity." The young alien held the crystal in her hands, feeling its warmth spread through her body. Suddenly, a hologram appeared, showing the image of a guardian standing beside a human. "This is a record of the alliance between the Guardians and humanity," the professor explained. "It shows the moment when they decided to work together to rebuild the world." The students watched as the hologram showed the Guardians sharing their knowledge with humans, helping them create new technologies, heal their wounds, and rebuild their cities. They saw humans and Guardians working side by side, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. But then, the hologram shifted, showing a darker scene. The Guardians were leaving Earth, their faces filled with sorrow. "Why are they leaving?" a student asked, her voice trembling. The professor sighed. The Guardians knew that humanity had to stand on its own. They could not stay forever. But before they left, they made a promise, to return one day, when humanity was ready. The hologram ended, and the students were left in silence. They had uncovered the truth about the Guardians, but now they had even more questions. "Professor," the young alien with the crystal said, "what happened to the Guardians? Did they ever return?" The professor's expression grew somber. "That is a story for another time. For now, we must focus on the task at hand. The Guardians left behind more clues, hidden in places like this. We must find them, piece by piece, to uncover the full story." As the students prepared to leave the ruins, the young alien clutched the crystal tightly. She didn't know why, but she felt like it was calling to her, like it held a secret that only she could unlock. The journey was far from over, but they were ready. They had uncovered the secret alliance between the Guardians and humanity, and they were beginning to see the true potential of both species. As they boarded the hovercraft and flew into the horizon, the students felt a sense of purpose. They were not just studying history, they were uncovering a story that could change the galaxy forever. The hovercraft glided over a dense, ancient forest, its canopy a sea of green stretching as far as the eye could see. The alien students sat in silence, their minds still processing the revelations about the Guardians. The young alien with the shimmering green skin held the Guardian crystal tightly, its warmth a constant reminder of the mysteries they were unraveling. "Professor," she finally spoke, her voice soft but filled with determination, "what was the Guardian's warning? You mentioned it earlier, but we never learned what it was." The professor turned to her, his glowing blue eyes filled with a mix of sadness and resolve. The Guardian's warning was not just for humanity, it was for all civilizations. They believed that the greatest threat to any species is not external, but internal. It is the failure to learn from the past, to grow, and to unite in the face of adversity. The students exchanged uneasy glances. They had seen how humanity had overcome its darkest hour, but they couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story. As the hovercraft descended into a clearing in the forest, the professor continued. The Guardians left behind a final message, hidden in a place known as the Sanctuary of Echoes. It is here that we will find their warning, and perhaps, the key to humanity's future. The students stepped out of the hovercraft and into the clearing. The air was thick with the scent of earth and leaves, and the sounds of birds and rustling trees filled the air. In the center of the clearing stood a massive stone archway, covered in glowing symbols similar to those they had seen in the ruins. "This is the entrance to the Sanctuary of Echoes," the professor said. "Only those who carry a guardian crystal can enter." The young alien with the crystal stepped forward, her heart pounding. She held the crystal up to the archway, and the symbols began to glow brighter. The ground beneath them trembled, and the archway shimmered like a mirage. "Go," the professor said gently. "The sanctuary will reveal its secrets to you." The young alien took a deep breath and stepped through the archway, followed by the other students. Inside, they found themselves in a vast, cavernous chamber filled with glowing crystals and holographic records. The air was cool and still, and the walls seemed to hum with energy. In the center of the chamber stood a pedestal, and on it was a large, glowing crystal. The young alien approached it, feeling the crystal in her hands grow warmer. She placed it on the pedestal, and the chamber suddenly came to life. Holograms filled the air, showing images of countless civilizations rising and falling. The students watched in awe as the history of the galaxy unfolded before their eyes: wars, alliances, triumphs, and tragedies. Then, the holograms shifted, showing the guardians. They stood tall and proud, their faces filled with determination. To those who find this message, a guardian's voice echoed through the chamber: "Know that our time has come to an end. We have done what we could to guide the younger races, but now, the future is in your hands. The greatest threat to the galaxy is not war or destruction, it is the failure to learn from the past. If you do not grow, if you do not unite, you will fall, just as we did." The students gasped. The guardians had fallen? How was that possible? The hologram continued, showing the guardians' homeworld, a beautiful, thriving planet. But then, it showed the planet being consumed by a dark, swirling force. The guardians fought bravely, but in the end, they were overwhelmed. "We fell because we became complacent," the guardian's voice said. "We believed we were invincible, and we failed to see the darkness within ourselves. Do not make the same mistake. Learn from the past, grow, and unite. Only then can you hope to survive." The hologram ended, and the chamber fell silent. The students stood in shock, their hearts heavy with the weight of the guardian's warning. "Professor," one student said, his voice trembling, "what does this mean for us? For humanity?" The professor sighed. "It means that the lessons of the past are more important than ever. Humanity has the potential to become a beacon of hope for the galaxy, but they must learn from their mistakes. And we must help them." The young alien with the crystal felt a surge of determination. She didn't know how, but she knew that she had a role to play in this story. The crystal had chosen her for a reason, and she was ready to fulfill her purpose. As they left the Sanctuary of Echoes and stepped back into the sunlight, the students felt a sense of urgency. They had uncovered the Guardian's warning, but now, they had to act. The fate of the galaxy depended on it. The hovercraft sped through the sky, leaving the Sanctuary of Echoes behind. The alien students sat in tense silence, their minds racing with the weight of the Guardian's warning. The young alien with the shimmering green skin clutched the Guardian crystal, its warmth a constant reminder of the responsibility they now carried. "Professor," she finally spoke, her voice steady but filled with concern, "what do we do now? The Guardian's warning was clear, but how do we help humanity, or anyone, avoid the same fate?" The professor turned to her, his glowing blue eyes filled with resolve. "We must be vigilant. The Guardian's warning was not just about the past, it was about the future. And the future is already unfolding." As if on cue, the hovercraft's console beeped urgently. The professor activated the holographic display, and the students gasped. The screen showed a massive alien fleet approaching Earth, their ships dark and menacing. "What is that?" a student asked, his voice filled with fear. The professor's expression darkened. "That is the Krylos Empire, a powerful and ruthless alien race. They have conquered countless worlds, and now, they have set their sights on Earth." The students stared at the screen, their hearts pounding. They had come to Earth to study its history, but now, they were witnessing its future, a future that could end before it even began. "Why are they targeting Earth?" the young alien with the crystal asked. "Because they see humanity as weak," the professor explained. "They believe that Earth is divided, that humanity is still struggling with the same conflicts that nearly destroyed them in the past. They do not see the strength, the resilience, the hope that we have seen." The students exchanged determined glances. They had witnessed humanity's darkest hour and their capacity for growth and unity. They couldn't let the Krylos Empire destroy everything humanity had fought for. "What can we do?" one student asked. The professor hesitated, then said, "We have a choice. We can warn humanity and help them prepare for the coming threat, or we can let events unfold naturally. But know this, if we intervene, we risk disrupting the natural course of history. If we do nothing, we risk losing everything." The students fell silent, the weight of the decision pressing down on them. They had always been observers, studying civilizations from a distance. But now, they were being asked to take action, to become part of the story. The young alien with the crystal stood up, her eyes blazing with determination. "We have to help them. We've seen what humanity is capable of. They've overcome so much, and they deserve a chance to prove themselves. If we don't act, we're no better than the guardians who failed to see the darkness within themselves." The other students nodded, their resolve hardening. They had come to Earth to learn, but now, they realized that their journey was about more than just studying history, it was about shaping the future. The professor smiled faintly. "Then it is decided. We will warn humanity and help them prepare for the coming threat. But we must act quickly." The hovercraft changed course, heading toward Earth's capital city. As they approached, the students saw the bustling metropolis below, a testament to humanity's resilience and ingenuity. "How do we warn them?" a student asked. "They won't believe us if we just show up and tell them an alien fleet is coming." The professor activated the holographic display again, showing a map of Earth. "We will use the Guardian Crystal. It contains not just a message, but a power that can unite humanity and give them the strength to face the Krylos Empire." The young alien with the crystal held it up, feeling its warmth grow stronger. She didn't know how, but she knew that the crystal was the key to everything. As the hovercraft landed in the heart of the city, the students stepped out into the chaos of human life. They were surrounded by towering buildings, bustling streets, and the hum of activity. "This is it," the professor said. "This is where we make our stand. This is where we help humanity face their greatest challenge." The young alien with the crystal took a deep breath and stepped forward. She didn't know what would happen next, but she knew one thing for certain, they were about to change the course of history. The alien students stood in the heart of Earth's capital city, surrounded by the bustling energy of human life. The young alien with the guardian crystal clutched it tightly, its warmth a steady reminder of the task ahead. The professor stepped forward, his glowing blue skin drawing curious glances from passers-by. "We must act quickly," the professor said. "The Krylos Empire will be here soon, and humanity needs to be ready." The students nodded, their determination unwavering. They had come too far to turn back now. The professor led them to a large, open square filled with people. In the center of the square was a towering monument, a symbol of humanity's resilience and unity. The professor climbed onto the monument's base and raised his hands, his voice amplified by a small device. "People of Earth," he called out, his voice echoing across the square. "We come in peace, but we bring urgent news. A great threat approaches your world, a threat that you must face together. The crowd stopped and turned to look at him, their faces filled with confusion and curiosity. Some whispered to each other, while others stared in awe at the glowing alien standing before them. The young alien with the crystal stepped forward, holding it up for all to see. The crystal began to glow brighter, and a holographic image of the Krylos fleet appeared above the square. The crowd gasped as they saw the massive, menacing ships heading toward Earth. "This is the Krylos Empire," the young alien said, her voice steady and clear. "They believe you are weak and divided. They believe you will fall easily. But we have seen your strength, your courage, and your ability to unite in the face of adversity. You have overcome so much, and you can overcome this too." The crowd was silent, their eyes fixed on the hologram. Then, a voice called out from the crowd. "Why should we believe you? How do we know this isn't some trick?" The professor stepped forward again. "We understand your skepticism. But we are not here to deceive you. We are here to help. This crystal," he said, pointing to the glowing object in the young alien's hands, "is a gift from an ancient race known as the Guardians. They believed in your potential, and so do we." The young alien felt the crystal grow warmer, and suddenly, it began to emit a soft, soothing light. The light spread across the square, touching everyone it reached. The crowd fell silent as they felt a wave of calm and clarity wash over them. "This crystal has the power to unite you," the professor explained. "It will help you see past your differences and work together for the common good. But the choice is yours. You must decide whether to stand together or fall divided." The crowd was silent for a moment, then a man stepped forward. "If what you're saying is true, then we have no time to waste. We need to prepare." Another voice called out, "We've faced threats before, and we've always come out stronger. This time will be no different." The crowd began to cheer, their fear turning into determination. The students watched in awe as humanity's spirit ignited, their resolve stronger than ever. The professor turned to the students. "This is it. This is the moment we've been working toward. Now, we must help them prepare." The students spread out, using their advanced technology to assist in the preparations. They helped set up defenses, shared strategies, and provided resources to strengthen Earth's forces. The young alien with the crystal stayed in the square, using its power to inspire and unite the people. As the hours passed, the city transformed into a fortress of hope and determination. People from all walks of life came together, setting aside their differences to face the common threat. The students were amazed by humanity's ability to adapt and unite in such a short time. But as the sun began to set, the professor gathered the students. "The Krylos fleet will be here soon. This is just the beginning. The real test is yet to come." The young alien with the crystal nodded, her heart filled with both fear and hope. She didn't know what the battle would bring, but she knew one thing for certain: humanity was ready to fight for their future. And so was she. The sky above Earth's capital city darkened as the Krylos fleet descended, their massive ships casting ominous shadows over the land. The alien students stood alongside humanity's defenders, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and determination. The young alien with the guardian crystal held it tightly, its glow a beacon of hope in the gathering darkness. "This is it," the professor said, his voice calm but filled with urgency. "The battle for Earth's future begins now. Remember what we've learned: humanity's strength lies not in their technology, but in their spirit." The students nodded, their eyes fixed on the horizon. They had come to Earth to study its history, but now, they were about to witness its defining moment. The Krylos ships opened fire, their weapons lighting up the sky with bursts of energy. Humanity's defenses responded, their weapons powered by the combined efforts of scientists, engineers, and soldiers from across the globe. The students used their advanced technology to shield the city and disrupt the Krylos attacks, but the enemy was relentless. The young alien with the crystal stepped forward, her heart racing. She knew the crystal held a power that could turn the tide of the battle, but she didn't know how to use it. As the fighting intensified, she closed her eyes and focused, letting the crystal's warmth guide her. Suddenly, the crystal began to glow brighter, its light spreading across the battlefield. The humans fighting nearby felt a surge of energy and clarity, their movements becoming more coordinated and their resolve stronger. The young alien realized that the crystal was amplifying humanity's unity and determination, giving them the strength to face the Krylos Empire. "Keep going," she shouted, her voice filled with hope. "You're stronger together." The humans rallied, their forces pushing back against the Krylos invaders. The students fought alongside them, using their technology to create barriers and disrupt the enemy's systems. The professor directed the efforts, his calm presence a steadying force in the chaos. As the battle raged on, the Krylos commander appeared on a holographic screen, his face twisted with anger. "You think you can defeat us?" he snarled. "You are nothing but a divided, weak species. You will fall, just like all the others." The young alien stepped forward, holding the crystal high. "You're wrong," she said, her voice steady and strong. "Humanity is not weak. They have faced darkness before, and they have always found the light. They are united, and they will never give up." The crystal's glow intensified, and a powerful wave of energy surged across the battlefield. The Krylos ships began to falter, their systems overwhelmed by the crystal's power. The humans seized the opportunity, launching a final, coordinated attack that drove the Krylos fleet back. The sky cleared as the last of the Krylos ships retreated, their dark presence fading into the distance. The city erupted in cheers, the sound of victory echoing through the streets. The students stood amidst the celebration, their hearts filled with awe and pride. The professor turned to the young alien, his eyes glowing with pride. "You did it," he said. "You unlocked the crystal's true power, the power of unity and hope." The young alien smiled, her heart swelling with emotion. "It wasn't just me," she said. "It was all of us. Humanity showed us what they're capable of, and we helped them see it too." As the sun rose over the city, the students gathered with the humans to celebrate their victory. The young alien with the crystal stood before the crowd, her voice filled with gratitude. "You have shown us the true meaning of strength," she said. "Your courage, your unity, and your hope have inspired us all. The Guardians believed in you, and now, so do we. Your past may be filled with darkness, but your future is bright." The crowd cheered, their spirits lifted by her words. The students knew that their journey was coming to an end, but they also knew that they had been changed forever. As they prepared to leave Earth, the professor turned to the students. "Remember what we've learned here," he said. "The past may be dark, but it is the light within us that defines our future. Humanity has shown us that, and it is a lesson we must carry with us always." The young alien with the crystal nodded, her heart filled with hope. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew that the lessons of humanity would guide her, and the galaxy, toward a brighter tomorrow. As their ship ascended into the sky, the students looked down at Earth one last time. It was a planet of beauty, resilience, and hope, a testament to the power of unity and the strength of the human spirit. And as they flew into the stars, they carried with them the greatest lesson of all, that even in the darkest times, there is always light.